Good morning, everybody. This is Jonathan Taylor, pastor of Ebro Baptist Church in Ebro, Florida. I wanted to come on here this morning. I wanted to share something that's pretty personal today. To date, I have lost about 116 pounds, and I still have about 30 more to go before I meet my goal, a little over 30 more. And then comes the hard part. After that, maintaining it. I'll speak more about that later. But I wanted to share a little bit of my testimony on that. It all started a few years ago when I was the pastor of the Eastside Baptist Church in Vernon. Behind that pulpit back there was a cross. It was up over the baptismal. So when you were looking at the preacher, you seen the cross in the background. I had a good friend who since went on to be with the Lord, Brother Richard Burke of the Hellfighters Motorcycle Ministry. He was a guest speaker one day. And he shared with me later that in the middle of his preaching, the cross caught his attention. And he said he felt a weight of conviction that he could very well be standing in between someone under his voice and that cross. You know, someone out in those pews and that cross. And he didn't want anything in him to come in between anyone and that cross. And that thought stuck with me for a long time. Fast forward several years, last June, after almost 11 years of serving that church, and I love that church very much, the Lord started moving on me, and I resigned as their pastor. Now, when I resigned, I knew I'd eventually pastor again, but I also knew I had to work on me, and I had to work on my spiritual condition in the meantime. So I started praying like Richard did that the Lord would remove from me anything that might get in between the people before me and the cross before I took another church. One of the things that God started dealing with me on was my weight and my eating habits. I didn't want anybody to look at the pulpit and be distracted by the fat man preaching on the fruit of the Spirit, one of which is self-control. You know, I thought it might be a little hypocritical. So in November of last year, I began my weight loss journey. Now, yes, I've used medication, but I believe medicine without prayer is just futile to a believer. I believe medication's good, but we should always use it with prayer. As I've already stated, I'm down around 116 pounds. I'm closer to my goal than I ever have, and I give God all the glory in it. Here's the thing, though. I've struggled with obesity most of my life, and I'm just being open and honest with you this morning. I know that losing the weight is the easy part. Maintaining it is going to be when the real work comes in. And I say all that to say this. I've come to recognize that this is a spiritual problem as much as a physical problem. And because of that, in my prayer time this morning, this really was just put on me hard. Because of that, I'd like to gauge interest in starting a faith-based ministry, a faith-based community based on three things. And these things being encouragement, prayer, and accountability. And these are three things that I need. These are things that I need to finish reaching my goal, and certainly things I need in maintaining it. And I suspect there's some of you out there that could use the same. If it's something you would be interested in, could you let me know? Could you let me know? You can message me on here on Facebook. You can send me a message via our church's website, ebrobaptistchurch.com. You can go on there on the contact form and you can send me a message there. Or you can text me, 850-768-2444. And if there's enough interest, we'll start ironing out details about when and where we're going to meet and all that. But I really think this is something that that we could really use to glorify the Lord. So I look forward to hearing from you. You pray for me, I'll pray for you. Love you. Talk to y'all later. Thank you.